Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Psycho, and I've got another Walking Dead video for you all today. This one is actually going to be pretty interesting, and it's going to be over the topic of Season 7, Episode 5 of The Walking Dead, titled Go-Getters. Now, more specifically, it's going to be over the idea of, do Negan, Simon, and the Saviors know that Hilltop colluded with Alexandria to attack the Saviors' compound? The interesting thing about this topic is that before I actually made this video, when I was just first planning about the idea of making this, I pretty much had a one-sided answer. I had the distinct answer that I was going to talk about and give my reasoning for. I actually switched back and forth between sides and tried to understand another perspective, and it seems like one of these things that can cross over a little bit. You can look at one thing from one perspective and it makes sense, but you can also look at it from a different angle and that makes sense as well. And I think that balance is really what makes this episode and the question itself very interesting. One of the first pieces of evidence from this episode that points to the idea of the Saviors possibly knowing about this alliance, we get the scent of that idea when Hilltop is attacked through the music box in the armored vehicle and the different bonfires attracting all of the walkers. As Simon told Gregory, and Gregory also realized himself, it's a reminder of what the Saviors do. Not only is it a reminder that the Saviors can protect them from situations like that, but it's also a reminder of what the Saviors can do as well. And I think that's something that some individuals didn't think about. And I think that double-sided idea right there is very cool as well, and I loved it. As Simon and the Saviors visit Hilltop for their weekly half and half, we see Simon go and talk to their leader known as Gregory. I think right off the bat, Simon was able to pick up the fact that Gregory is sort of a coward, and he's someone that would give everything up just to keep himself safe. More hints of this idea of them possibly knowing about the collusion is when Simon asks Gregory, "Are you sure you don't have anything to tell me? Is there anything you need to get off your chest and let me know about?" This was one of those moments that kind of reminded me of different movies and different plots from TV shows and different forms of media that I've seen in the past, where the enemy already knows the plan and what has happened, but they're just waiting on the person to admit it to see if they're really that loyal or if they're still trying to go under their belt. Gregory takes a shot and tries to give up the goods, but in the end, he ends up only giving up his goods. We saw that Simon was really happy with all of the scotch and liquor, and it seemed like it diverted his attention away from the idea that they know. It was this part right here that kind of swayed my opinion back and forth of the idea of did they really know, because it seems like they would try and enforce that. Even though he did let him in on the good stuff, he didn't tell him what he had been waiting to hear. However, you could also say it from the side of, it's one of those unspoken things, Gregory knows that Simon knows, therefore Gregory is not going to do that again. Or one could simply say that Simon doesn't know, and that Negan and the Saviors don't know as well. Finally, for the conclusion, and my actual opinion on this idea, I do have to pick one of the two. So right now, I'm thinking that they do kind of have an idea that the Hilltop conspired with Alexandria to take out those Saviors. My reasoning for this is because why would they launch an attack on Hilltop if they didn't have this idea? How would it benefit the Saviors in any sort of way? Hilltop is already providing them with half of their stuff. What else could they need out of them, and why would they have this motive if it wasn't for them already knowing about the conspiracy? All the attack would do would be to deplete their resources, therefore making it harder for the Saviors to get half of what they want. However, the only reason they would want to make this sacrifice would be to make a point and send Hilltop a lesson that they do not conspire against the Saviors. Now, to put the cherry on the cake, Simon lets Gregory know that they failed. They killed some of their friends at Alexandria. It's basically the icing on the cake. The attack says that you don't mess with us, and then Simon telling him that basically said, your saving grace didn't help you this time. Accept your position and fall in line, and keep giving us half of your stuff. I think it might be one of those things where he knows that Gregory is such a coward that he will fall in line and he won't revolt, especially after this attack and the talk between the two, because if he knows he has to come back a second time, Gregory is not going to be the one living. Personally, I think it's one of those unspoken terms things. It's a lesson in a talk that he gave, and he knows that Gregory knows that they know. That's simply my idea on the situation. There is a part of me that believes the other side as well. However, I just had to go for this one and establish what I really think on this. I could definitely see it go the other way as well, so I wouldn't be surprised at that either. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Peace out.